So, hey, you guys, welcome back to Being Becoming the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Makaya, also known as MB. My friends call me that, my homies. And if you are with us, if you're down with us, rocking with us, you're part of our homie crew. Homies was created because me and Janelle met in Holmes Hall at the University of Kentucky. So anyone that is, a part of this podcast supports us, is family, is listening to us, we call you guys our homies. So welcome, you guys. So we are a weekly podcast. We talk about anything and everything, but we try to help people on their journey to become. So when I say become, we leave that open-ended for our audience. So whether you want to be better at finances, be better, within health and wellness realm, whether you want to work on just, peace of mind and self-care, whatever that may be, we hope that you are working and taking the steps to become the best version of yourself. So as always, we do want to make the statement, we are here to do the work, but we are not experts. And Janelle, what are we talking about this week?
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Janelle. Okay, y'all, so today we're going to be talking about priorities. So we all know priorities is something that we all must have. It's what drives us to do what we do, and it becomes our main focus. A part of prioritizing is when you put things that matter first, like your goals or your current plan that you're currently working on. So not only does prioritizing happen in business, in school, but also in relationships. When someone cares about you and loves you, they'll put you first. They'll make sure the time is set just for you two.
Mm-hmm.
So again, today we will be discussing why having priorities are important and how it helps get you back to where you're going, whether professionally, academically, and socially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, priorities are so important. If you guys have been rocking with the podcast for a while, you know that one of our goals for this year is to be consistent with episodes. I will say last week, we both had to take a break. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was booked and busy. I've been a little bit of everywhere. I know Janelle has been super busy with, the last time we were on the podcast, she actually got a call for a job that she really wanted. So I know she's been working on that, working with family, summer school. So
Yes.
it's been a crazy time, but this is still our priority and one of our focuses. So, this week we're actually giving you guys 2 episodes to make up for the episode that we missed last week. But we're going to just keep this ball rolling. Like we're jumping right back on the horse.
Amen.
Yeah, but for this week, when it comes to priorities, I really wanted to talk a little bit more about it because, really, like Janelle said in her intro, like it's what we focus on. It can definitely help in many areas and realms of life. It can help you with like confidence and decision making. So when you already have that priority in the back of your mind, like let's say when me and Janelle did our vision boards, we had maybe like 5 things on our vision board that we wanted to focus on achieving for 2021. So those already gives us like a list of priorities that we need to focus on. Because if we have our priorities, that's going to help us to achieve those goals. That's going to be our main focus. Yes, other things may arise, family issues, other things we may want to do where we have to spend our money. I know, Janelle, you said one of yours was you wanted to get out of debt. So there may be other things that Janelle has to spend her money on, but still her priority and her focus is to save and get out of debt. So I definitely think it's important to talk about it because it's something that we all should have. We should have that where there's 3 or 10 top priorities that we want to go with, and also be okay with, priorities change. Priorities isn't something that's going to be long term all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, and I second that. I'm one of those who I write out what I want or envision in the current season that I'm in. And like
Mm-hmm.
NB said, one of those things was to be debt free. And the main reason I was shooting to be debt free is because I want to be a homeowner.
Mm.
And that's one thing that, they look at is that credit score, that report to see, hey, how much is on her credit? How much does she have to pay back? Student loans, everything like that. All of that
Mm-hmm.
matters when you're getting a house. And so that's like been my main focus. And y'all, I am 75% there. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully by the end of summer school, y'all, your girl will be officially done, sealed, and delivered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Look, that's what I'm shooting for. But again, you have to prioritize. That means cutting back on certain things. Y'all know I love to shop, so I haven't been shopping as much. Y'all know I love changing up my hair. I haven't even been doing, all the do's. Well, if I do, I do it myself instead of paying
Yeah.
somebody to do it. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yep.
So, you have to really prioritize what you want. If you say, "Hey, I want to go out of town," you got to create you a budget.
Mm.
And you have to be like, oh, I'm going to put this $100 aside so we can do this while we're in Memphis, or we're going to do this excursion while we're in Puerto Rico. So I want to make sure I put this aside. So everything is legit prioritizing. If it matters to you, you're going to put that first and you're going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that you are able to fulfill what you want.
Mhm. Mhm. And I want to even take it a step further and talk about outside of like personal life and goals that we want to achieve. If you guys really think about it, think about any job interview you've ever been on. One of the first questions they ask you, or a lot of them will ask you, is maybe like a situational question or a behavioral based question around priorities. They may ask you something like, um, you're giving two competing priorities by a supervisor. Um, how would you handle this? Like that's always a question that's usually asked during interviews because they want to figure out how you're going to juggle two tasks at a time. They want to see if you have any priorities that you have to focus on, that may hurt or hinder your work. So they want to see where your mindset's at and how you can juggle multiple things because all of us, I feel like majority of us are trying to achieve more than one thing at once. There's not a lot of us that are like, oh, I can centrally focus just on this thing. There's so much stuff that happens in a day. There's so much stuff that we want to do. So you have to have priorities in place to be able to achieve all of those things, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And just to shoot off MB, and that's in life too. You got to
Hmm.
be able to juggle family, you got to be able
Right.
to juggle school, you got to be able to juggle work, finances. All of that is like all together at one time. You have to juggle
Hmm.
so many spectrums at one time. And the thing is, you just can't get caught up in just one particular one, and not pay attention to the other.
Right.
Because
Right.
otherwise you're gonna feel like, oh my God, what did I do? I missed the ball. You're gonna feel that way. And so in order to not feel like that, you
Hmm.
have to still put attention where it's needed in each one of those fields.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Just from a personal thing from me, I feel like having priorities has helped me with like my stress levels. Because I'm definitely one of those people. My mom has pointed out recently. When I want to do something, I'm all in. So I'm one of those people, and it's not the best practice, but if I know there's a goal in the end and I'm able to achieve it, I can figure out, okay, I can achieve it in, a month. I can achieve it in maybe 2 weeks. I will push myself so hard to make sure that I can achieve that goal. So definitely having priorities and kind of figuring out, taking on little things at a time. So when I say priorities, like I want to make sure we're saying this, correctly, and we're putting it in perspective so people understand. So when I want to do something, I first put a goal that I want to do it. So I have my goal up here. Then I think about like steps or things that I need to do in between to reach that goal. So usually 9 times out of 10, those steps are like my priorities. It could be in any type of order. I could have to do step one, which is usually priority one, or step four, maybe a longer thing, whatever it may be. Um, but if I have those steps in my mind or the priorities, what we're calling them today, it kind of just helps. It's like smart goals. It keeps me on
Mhm.
task. And again, it helps me to be less stressful because I'm able to see, okay, this is a measurable goal. I can complete it in this time frame. I know there's some other things that I want to do, but maybe I can either push this off or ask for assistance with this, or it's not my main focus because I'm focused on this priority right now. So that's what I mean by like kind of helps me with like my stress levels because I'm able to manage it because I set time for it. So it's all about
Mhm.
managing your time with priorities. Like it's a great measurable goal in my opinion.
And like MB said, I just want to take time to reference that managing time whole thing.
Hmm.
That is the key ingredient in prioritizing an organization
Right.
of anything. That's the key thing is, can you manage your time efficiently and effectively to reach that goal?
Hmm.
That's the key thing. I'm telling you. One thing, even with students, I tell my students this, and even myself. If you work 2 weeks in advance, you will never be stressed out in college.
Mm,
Never. Cause I had told MB at one time, I said, MB, I done did all my assignments for the whole month. And MB was like, are you serious? I said, yeah, girl, I'm just chilling now. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But it's the prioritizing. So therefore, I can make sure that I'm available for our podcast. I can make sure that I can be a social butterfly and go to the club on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and not
Hmm.
have anything to worry about. It's just literally managing your day to day duties and things that you need to get done, whether that's doing laundry,
Right.
cooking. If you focusing on meal prepping right now, that is very time consuming. So making sure that you didn't already went to the grocery store, you didn't already cut the peppers and onions and got the spices ready, whatever you need to do, you
Right.
make sure that everything is in order and that, hey, we're going by this menu for the day or or for the week.
Hmm.
Just making sure that you have everything you need in order to be successful in that process.
That is such good advice. You know how sometimes we're better at like hearing advice and like taking our own advice. I feel like that's
Mhm.
such good advice because like that's something I definitely didn't do in college. Like I did not manage my time well. I was one of those students that literally would wait till the last minute to type up a paper, or read for the next day in class because I was focused. My priorities were on other things, or I was focused on other things. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like if you want to do something or achieve a goal or you just want to, help yourself and be better at something, like you have to set aside time to do that. Like you said with the meal prep example, like weight loss is a huge thing for me that I want to achieve. I know when you eat better, outside of the working out, because I do make time to work out, making sure you're not eating healthy, like meal prepping is definitely, I need to set aside time and days for that and be, consistent with my schedule as well.
Mhm.
But I also wanted to kind of shift a little bit and talk about even priorities in relationships. Like if you and the person you are pursuing and the person that's pursuing you, if you guys don't kind of have some of the same priorities. Like if you guys aren't wanting to achieve the same things, or if you guys your attention aren't on the same things, like if you're wanting to have a family and your significant other is like, well, that's not a priority for me, I'm going to push that down 5 years down the road, like that's not going to work in your relationship because that's your priority. So it's
Mhm.
easier, and you guys work better when you're working towards similar priorities. Not saying all of your priorities have to be the same. Like obviously some people work is a huge thing for them and some other people like, well, I like to do other things outside of work. Maybe that time frame that you guys both spend on that, you're able to do other things and then come together. But yeah, having some of the same priorities definitely helps with balance within relationships.
Definitely so. And like MB said, not every priority is going to be the same
Right.
in a relationship, but like she said, majority of them needs to be the same. So say for instance, you can't be thinking, oh, I'm just ready to be in an apartment, and then you have your wife over here talking about we buying a house.
Right.
Or say for instance, you have your eyes set on a new 2021 Kia vehicle, and your husband like, nah, we need to focus on this budget over here. So
Hmm.
again, making sure that your priorities are in line together, not only will it prevent a lot of friction in relationships, but it gives you guys a roadmap to say, hey, this is what we're
Mm.
going to do in this year, and then we can move on to the next level and the next step and things like that. Because I'm gonna take the example of the buying the car and y'all trying to budget. I'm gonna just take that for example.
Hmm.
That whole situation right then and there, if she's ready for a car, but he's like, hey, we need to budget. Come on, that's gonna be a problem in itself. Am I right, MB? If you don't have that
Yeah.
discussion.
Right.
And not only will it build some type of animosity or, I'm mad at you because you ain't, sign off on my car or I wanted that, then he gonna be like, well, shoot, you don't see the bigger picture. I'm trying to get us prepared for that house that you've been wanting. So
Hmm.
again,
Hmm.
being able to just prioritize and see things for what it is in that moment and be able to be like, okay, let's sit back and analyze. Let's plan out this this whole little method of budgeting our money, and within the next year we'll be able to get you that car. So
Mhm.
you just gotta prioritize. And shoot, and when we say relationship prioritizing, baby, that can go for anything. Cause we know
Right.
those couples who don't have no time with each other because
Mhm.
John too busy at work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We don't know how to say, hey, I need some quality time with my wife and my family. So really putting each other first is key in these relationships. Come on, MBs, talk to the people. You married. Come on.
I'm done. I'm done. Shoot, I'm glitchy a little bit. Am I moving on you? Okay, I'm moving now. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I love that you brought up roadmaps because I feel like that kind of goes into what I was speaking about a little bit earlier. Um, um, but yeah, I was just saying roadmaps. I feel like having similar priorities or something that you guys are working at is going to help you achieve so much. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you arguments. So a lot of people, I'll even give you the example of money. They say one of the top reasons people divorce is because they're not on the same page about money. So like Janelle said, like if you guys are wanting to achieve certain things, buying a house, buying that new car, sending your kids to a certain school, um, you have to be on the same idea when it comes to budgeting or, where's your money, what's going to, where's your money going once it comes in. So yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you said. Relationships are hard, so anything that you can do to make them a little bit easier when it comes to having those priorities, that's part of communication because you have them together, you sit down and talk about it. And it just, like I said, it saves you a lot of time because you don't have to have these silly arguments because you guys are kind of on the same page. But another example I wanted to give when it came to relationships was even like as simple as monogamy.
Mm.
Like if that's a priority for you and that's not a priority for your significant other, that can cause a lot of problems because you have to be on the same page about that. When they say the word define your relationship or sit down and have a conversation about what you want in your relationship, like that's the time to talk about all that. Like when you get into a relationship with someone, you just talk about um you don't have to get into the weeds and things of that nature, but figure out like why are you guys together? What makes you happy about that other person? What do you want to achieve? Um, yeah, so I definitely agree with everything, and I think I like Janelle said, there's a lot of things when it comes to relationships if you could talk about when it comes to priorities. I know I kind of put a list of certain priorities or common priorities that people may have, whether it be work related, family related, health, home, friendships, relationships, hobbies, recreation, fun, self care, personal growth, sports, spirituality, religion, money, volunteering, and etc. The list can go on and on and on. But yeah, like I said, this topic is so important just because you have to have priorities and the people that you're around, they have to align in some type of way. Not all of them, obviously, but
Mhm.
the people you spend the most time with, you should have some priorities that kind of align.
And I'm just gonna echo that. Let me just say, knowing the person you're with
Mm-hmm.
and knowing like their love language, that is a
Mm.
priority, y'all. That
Mm-hmm.
is a priority because you actually took out the time to really analyze and be like, hey, she likes when I buy her flowers, or she likes when we have this open, conversation,
Mm-hmm.
or where it's just me and her. Or either she enjoys going to this quiet place. We don't even have to say anything to each other, but that's what she likes to do, so I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, knowing your spouse love language, that's a priority because you're making sure that you're like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm fulfilling your needs and that you're fulfilling mine. And that
Mm-hmm.
also works for friendship and family as well. We all know if you're not giving the basic hierarchy of needs
Right.
to your family, then of course everything is not going to be smooth. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lack of communication, a lack of trust, because it's like, shoot, I couldn't even trust you to come to my recital. You didn't tell me you was going to be there. You know what I'm saying? You'd have let me down. And that builds a whole little other issue in itself. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? Because it's like, I can't depend on you.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that you're able to prioritize in every single spectrum of relationships. If that's a coworker saying, hey, I need your assistance on this group project, I need your input. If you can't do that, then you letting them down too.
Right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's a
Mhm.
goal. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, I just want to echo what you said about relationships and even friendships, like getting to know their love language. You're putting in time and energy into that relationship. Like you're showing that a you love them, you care about them, you want this to work. So getting to know a person and understanding what their needs are, and how you can, cater to that, or, help them feel secure or loved or whatever it may be in that relationship is great. I'll give you an example. One of my number one love languages is quality time. And it's great because me and Mike actually share that. I think that's his number two, but we're very close in that. So we dedicate time throughout the week to spend with each other. Whether it's just we only have an hour to watch a TV show, or we go out and go do something. Like us just physically being around each other, it just helps. It helps our relationship, and it shows that we love each other. Like it breeds love without having to say "I love you" all the time. So yeah, definitely getting to know that person shows you care. And that's definitely a priority for a lot of people is, showing the ones that they love that they care and they truly support each other. Like me and Janelle, like I try to show her that I support her. Same thing with Janelle. Janelle's like one of my biggest cheerleaders. Anytime I'm doing something, she's like, congratulations. She's telling other people about it. So, just find ways that you can support each other. That is a priority for a lot of people. And, you know, um, there's ways that you can do it. So
It's all in balance, you all. It's
mhm.
all in balance. And I know life happens, and like say for instance, I know like in college, you're around different people every single day. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You able to go up to their dorm room and say, "Hey girl, let's go hang out." You get what I'm saying?
Right. It's
But as you
easier.
get yeah, it's easier when you're there and you're younger without look, less responsibilities.
Girl, who you
But
telling?
but as we get older and like we have way more responsibility on us and we're on different places, different
Mhm.
states, cities, all of
Mhm.
that, it can be a little tough to make sure that you prioritize those long distance relationships and
Right.
friendships. But you do have to do the work. As we always say, you do have to put in some
Mhm.
type of effort, work. Say, hey girl, I was just stopping by to be like, hey, how you doing? I just haven't heard from you in a long time. When
Right.
people see you put that little bit of effort, they be like, girl, I still rock with you. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, we know you can't talk to somebody every single day.
Hey, there's some people that do it. There's some friendships I have been in um that expected it. And I will tell you, I mean me and Janelle talked about this. I'm not the best at always prioritizing my friendships. As I've gotten older, I've started to work on it a lot more because I understand that, friendships are just like any type of other relationship. You have to bring energy and time to it. So I'm definitely like working on it, but I'm not the best at it. I used to call myself that friend where I check in with you like once a year just to make sure you're good and okay. And I cheerlead from the side. So anytime you like post something, like I'm liking it, commenting, but you won't hear from me via phone every, day or week of things of that nature. So I definitely like if you're like me and you're that type of friend, like I feel you. It could be a lot because I'm not the one. It depends on who the friend is. Like me and Janelle, we'll stay on the phone because we'll be catching up on stuff. We know a lot about each other's lives, so we talk about any and everything. But I have those friends that will be like, they'll be on the phone, but we're not talking about anything. So I'm like, ugh, why are we on the phone? I want to get off the phone. Like, I could be doing something else. Not that I don't love my friend. I don't care about them. I don't want to, see good for them and have this conversation. But, I'm just not, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a huge phone person, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely feel anyone out there that's like, I need to prioritize this, but I'm working on it. Just do small things. Like I said, like I'm the one that I'll reach out to my friends on social media and put something on their picture, and then we'll start like a short DM conversation or just
Mm-hmm.
anything else. And I think one thing for me, I know I'm rambling a little bit, you guys, but I want to get this out. One thing for me that I can say, all my friends know that I'm there for them, whether we talk, once a day, once a year, whatever that may be. I've had a lot of, past friends reach out to me, and I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not friend that if we were friends, like, we're good. Like there's no issues. You need to reach out to me. You need something. Like I'm always that friend. So, just be that. If you feel like you can't talk to people every day and you have friends, define your relationship and make sure they have an understanding of that. If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. I just wanted to get that off my chest. feel like there's a lot of people out there like me. So we shall see.
Girl, but I feel you though. I mean, it's some people that you talk to every single day. Like I was telling y'all, my cousin, she's more like sister best friend. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? So we talk at least twice, maybe even 3 times out the week. You get what I'm saying? Me and you, we talk at least, I know for a fact we talk weekly.
Right. Girl, we have
You know
to
what
just
I'm
because
saying?
of this podcast, but yeah.
Right, right. But then other people I can go about 2, maybe 3 or 4 weeks without talking to. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not a huge phone person either. You get what I'm saying? But I love sending a text. I would send you a text message in a heartbeat.
Right.
Envy knows I would do a snap in a heartbeat and send it to you. If we in a group chat together, you might not hear back from me immediately if I'm doing something, but you will hear back. You know what I'm saying? That day, at least.
Right.
So just knowing your friends and being willing to work with them, because again, everybody got things in their life that they're working on right now. So it's key to be patient and work with each other during this process.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think when I was rambling, that's what I was trying to get to, is like knowing your friends and giving them like a little bit of grace when they kind of fall short of your specific expectations, because we're all different. We all process things different. I can't tell you how many text messages I've sent that have like went wrong, and it's like, no, I didn't mean that in that text message, but that's how you read it. So yeah, just give your friends a little bit of grace. Like, we just went through a pandemic. We're all still trying to figure out, you know, like what's next, what's the next step, how the world's going to change. So yeah, just reach out to your friends. If you're the friend that, you know, wants to have a conversation every day, you know, maybe take a little bit of a break from that, or maybe you be the one that reaches out because, you know, your friend's not that type of person. So yeah. Definitely ways to go about it. But I did want to kind of wrap up a little bit, because I feel like we give people a lot of information when it comes to, you know, making sure that you understand priorities and you're setting some priorities for yourself. But is there any last words you want to mention when it comes to priorities?
Like I say, don't just neglect everything else and just focus on one thing. Try to have your hand in at least 5 of those realms. You get what I'm saying? And once you complete one goal in whatever area or spectrum that is, then you go on to the next one. Just never just give all your attention to one and not any of the other. Otherwise, like I said, that will cause chaos and you will be disappointed overall. But other than that, sure, we dropped some gems, girl. I don't got nothing else to add.
We sure did. The only thing I want to wrap up is making sure that, you know, the people understand what a priority is, or at least the lens that we're looking at it from. So a priority is a concern or interest or desire that comes before all others. So keep in mind, your priorities are going to change from time to time. You're not going to have the same, more than likely at least, you're not going to have the same priority over your full, you know, lifespan. Even over a decade, you're probably not going to have the same priority. So be okay with that. Be okay with, you know, maybe a friendship or a relationship, you guys having that continual conversation, because maybe your priorities change over time. When you want to have kids with, you know, maybe a partner or something like that, that's your priority at one moment. Then, you know, a priority becomes raising those kids. And then a priority becomes, you know, helping those kids to go out in life and, you know, achieve some things on their own. So keep in mind, priorities may shift from time to time.
Definitely so. And if there's no change in those goals or priorities, you're not doing something right. Again, all throughout your life journey, it's all about progression and going to the next step. So if you're not doing that, you really need to reevaluate some things and get back in tune with life and you.
I could not agree anymore. But you guys, that's the end of our episode. We appreciate all of our homies for, you know, listening in and rocking with us. You guys, if you want to support us, I do want to make this statement. I know a lot of people have been, you know, following, subscribing, listening to the podcast. If you really want to support us, go ahead and download an episode. Go to any of these streaming sites, whether it be, you know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. There's a boatload of more that we're on. And download an episode. You know, maybe send it to a friend, listen to it later. That really is what helps us at this time. when it comes to supporting the podcast. So if you're our homie, if you're part of our crew, go ahead and download that episode. But also, if you want to, engage with us further, go over to Instagram. Our Instagram page is Becoming Podcast. So we go on there and we post, what we're going to talk about for the week. So we'll do that a day before the episode, comes, or before we shoot the episode. We put in like little, clips of what the episode is and the day that it drops. If you want to shoot us a DM and you're like, hey, I love that you guys talked about this in episode, whatever it may be, can you kind of go a little bit more further in, or here's some follow-up questions I had for you guys, shoot us a DM. Our Instagram is Becoming Podcast. And then, as always, if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at I'm Just MB on Instagram.
And you can follow me also on Instagram at 𝒹𝒾𝓃𝑔. That is 𝒃𝒽𝑜𝑢𝑇𝑖�ⴼULJ.
Okay. And like I said, this week you guys get lucky. We're doing 2 episodes back to back. So definitely check out the next episode that we're going to be dropping. I believe we are going to be talking about, let me pull it up.
Closure.
Thank you. We're going to be talking about closure, which I'm super excited to have that conversation. So as always, thank you guys for listening. Shout out to all of our homies, and we will see you guys next week.